Hey there, lens mates. It's Book Lens. Go ahead and find a comfortable spot. Maybe lie down, get cozy, and just listen. Because today, we're diving deep into the incredible and sometimes truly dangerous story behind the making of a modern legend, Kantara, Chapter 1.
You know, those words come straight from the film's creator, Rishab Shetty himself, and they really they hit you, right? They perfectly capture what this whole journey was about. This wasn't just about making a movie. It was a daily fight, a battle against everything the world could throw at them. So let's really get into what that looked like on the ground.
I mean, think about it. How do you even begin to make a prequel to a massive hit like Kantara? It was never going to be a small project, right? The ambition here was just off the charts. And the numbers, wow. The numbers behind this production are absolutely staggering. They really paint a picture of just how huge this whole undertaking was.
Okay, let's start with just one number, 250. That's the number of grueling, exhausting shoot days this movie took. Now, to give you some perspective, the first Kantara, that was shot in just 96 days. So we are talking about more than double the time, double the effort, an absolutely insane level of endurance from every single person on that crew. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
And of course, with that kind of scale, you need a massive budget. We're talking over 125 crore rupees. Just let that sink in for a second. For a film that's so deeply rooted in a specific local culture, that kind of money is absolutely monumental. It just shows you the incredible amount of trust people had in Rishab Shetty's vision. And, you know, it's a real game changer. It proves that a sacred local story can be told on a scale that rivals any huge national blockbuster.
So, where did all that money go? Well, a huge chunk of it went into creating these absolutely breathtaking sequences. Get this, there's an epic war scene that took 50 days, just to film that one sequence. I want you to picture it. A cast of almost 3,000 people. Over 500 of them were professional fighters, all of them clashing on this gigantic 25-acre set that they built in the mountains. The sheer scale is just mind-blowing. But look, the story of making Kantara isn't just about these huge numbers. That's only part of it. The real story, the heart of it, lies in the human cost. It's about the daily struggles, the unpredictable challenges that the cast and crew faced, where it felt like every single day brought a brand new test.
So when Rishab Shetty was asked what was the single most difficult day on set, you might think he'd talk about some crazy stunt or a really emotional scene, but no, that's not what he said. Instead, he talked about a time when the entire production was completely and totally at the mercy of Mother Nature. Okay, picture this. The crew is 25 days into this non-stop night shoot. They're deep inside a private forest, and there's only one way in and one way out, this one little makeshift road. And then out of nowhere, the sky just opens up, torrential rain. There's no phone signal, so all they have are these old weather forecasts they saved. Shetty said the crew was literally praying as they just raced against the clock. Because if that road washed out, that was it. They would have been stranded in there for days. It was an incredibly close call.
And you know, the challenges went way beyond just logistics and bad weather. For the people involved, this film set became a place of some really profound personal trials. The line between telling a story for the camera and just plain surviving became terrifyingly thin. So when rumors started flying around about accidents on set, Rishab Shetty made something crystal clear. He said, you know those near-death experiences you're hearing about? They weren't just random things happening on set. He said, they happened to me. It's one thing to direct a film. It's another thing entirely to physically put your own life on the line for it. It just shows you how deeply personally invested he was.
And maybe the toughest hit of all wasn't a physical one, but an emotional one, a profoundly sad one. After he had finished all his shooting for the film, the incredibly talented co-star, Rakesh Pujari, suddenly passed away from a heart attack. Shetty called him a great companion, and his loss, well, it just cast this deep shadow over the whole production. It was a kind of test that no amount of rain or logistical nightmares could ever compare to.
Now, to really get what Kantara is all about, you have to understand its heart, its spiritual core. The entire film is built around this sacred ancient ritual from coastal Karnataka. And it's not some relic of the past, it's a living, breathing tradition that is the absolute soul of this story.
This ritual is called Buddha Kola, and that literally means the dance of the spirits. It's a tradition that's deeply rooted in ancestor worship, and it's incredibly powerful. What happens is, a performer, who usually comes from one of the lower caste communities, enters this intense trance-like state. It's believed that they become possessed by a local deity, and in that moment, they are the divine. The entire village worships them.
And it's so much more complex than just a dance. The performer becomes an oracle. They deliver divine justice. They settle disputes in the village. It's also a really inclusive ritual with different roles for people from all different castes. And the stories of these spirits, they're called padna, they're all passed down through oral folklore. What's so fascinating is that this tradition is ancient, likely predating Vedic Hinduism. It's this living, direct connection to ancestors, to the land itself. And that's the profound depth the film tries to capture. And that's why this quote from Rishab Shetty is so important. For him and for the whole team, putting Buddha Kola on screen wasn't just for the sake of cinema. It was a true act of faith. It was them sharing something they genuinely believe in, something they are deeply emotionally connected to. So, the big question is how? How did this incredibly local, very specific story from one region manage to connect so powerfully with people all over India and even around the world? Well, the answer really comes down to its raw authenticity and the universal human truths it taps into.
This success was just immediate and explosive. On day one, just its first day in India, it pulled in a mind-boggling 37.24 crore rupees. That put it on a rocket ship trajectory to blast past the 100 crore mark worldwide, right out of the gate. There was just no doubt about it. This thing was a monster hit.
So again, why? Why did it connect so deeply with so many people? Well, if we look back at a survey done for the first movie, we get some really interesting clues. The top reasons people gave were all about its authenticity. They loved the magical quality of the local culture, the plot being rooted in real folklore, and the powerful theme of deity worship. At the end of the day, people connected because it felt real. It was told with this profound honesty that you just don't see very often.
When you put it all together, the making of Kantara Chapter 1 was so much more than just a movie production. It was this epic 250-day marathon. It was fueled by sheer perseverance, it was shaped by tragedy and near tragedy, and it was all grounded in this deep, unshakable faith in telling an honest, authentic story.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about, doesn't it? When a sacred ritual from a very specific community suddenly becomes a global blockbuster, it makes you wonder, who really owns that story? Is it the community that's kept it alive for centuries? Is it the artist who brings it to the world? Or is it the global audience that falls in love with it? There's no easy answer, just something to ponder. Thanks for listening, Lensmates.